Hi everyone, I'm Mario.
And I'm Doris.
We are here to tell you a little bit about our family story. Um, I was raised in a home of four. My mom was a single mom. She migrated here when she was about 22 years old with three of my siblings. And that kind of just went down the road where, having to do what she needed to do to provide for me and seeing hardworking, single mom doing what she needed to do for me. I didn't grow up without a father. I, I had my brothers, my older brothers and my sister, who mostly took care of me when I was younger because my mom had to work a lot and just to keep food on the table and, keep a roof over our heads. I never really could say I got myself into too much trouble, but definitely hanging out with the wrong crowds, doing things I'm not supposed to at a young age, and just overall seeing and looking back now today to where I was when I was a teenager. It's through God's grace that I'm here, and to have my wife here next to me.
So for myself, my parents were together. At first, Hispanic family. Growing up, I was the middle child. I had an older sister, a younger brother, and always needing and wanting approval from my parents. My mom was at-home mom. My father would work often and not be home too much, so I often was trying to get for him to approve of me or to seek for us, and the same for my mother. And so growing up, I ended up hanging out also with the wrong crowd and trying to I got into a lot of fights as well growing up, due to, I guess, the needing that attention and seeking in the wrong places. And I ended up getting pregnant at 19 and having my son, and later on meeting with Mario.
And backing up, how did you guys meet at first?
So we've known each other since grammar school. We went to Burt Elementary School. I'm a little younger than she is. I know she does. She looks young.
But what neighborhood is it?
We actually grew up in the north side, Bucktown, Logan Square area. And to be honest, I remember actually the first time that I can remember, I was probably around 11 years old, seeing her coming down from like the third floor when I was going to the bathroom. And I actually I met her through her cousin, my best friend since third grade. And I used to make fun of him, like, hey man, when are you gonna talk to your cousin for me? And lo and behold, like, here we are. We then met again when me and my best friend went to high school. We went to Wells, and that's actually where I met her again. She was living with her grandmother, and I'll let her tell you that story.
So I was actually ended up being a single mom myself. After I had my son, I went and I moved with my grandmother because I was in an abusive relationship. And so living there with my grandmother used to live in the front, my aunt was in the back, and so Mario used to always go and visit. So
Not doing very
slowly
good
but
things.
surely we were talking to each other, and we became friends, really good friends during the time that we were talking to each other. And one day he finally decided to ask me out, and I was like a little leery about it. So I told him, well, I don't really know about that, and maybe you should ask my mom. I don't know, because I have a son, so what am I going to do? I didn't want to just leave him with whoever.
Yeah.
So
I
we ended
remember
up
that.
dating after that, and so
She made me ask her mom to take care of my future stepson, which he was 3 at the time, and I just remember holding him in my arms just like, poking my eyes out actually. And I thought it was adorable. I'm like, she's like, don't let him do that. And I'm just like, it's okay. And it's just amazing how when we're not following Christ and trying to do things our own way, how bitter and how just angry we can get, and where we can kind of let our addictions consume us.
So how was that first 10 years together?
For me, it was really rough because I didn't realize it at the time, but I realize it now that I was trying to put my son in a higher place than I was Mario from us being together. And we always had arguments because we could never agree on anything. So it would either be my way or his way, or like the little things would make me get upset. And well, he's not doing it my way, or I would think of something in my own mind and expect for him to think of it for me. So I feel like that was a really big issue because I've always felt like he should understand me, but it was more of my own understanding that led me astray. And so it was really, really rough. There was always, we would break up for silly things, if you didn't, put the screwdriver in the door handle or something, it was nothing worth the fighting. Like, there was no point in the fighting, but
we grew up in two very different households. I really gravitated to her family's. Her family's known me. I grew up actually with her family since I was 12. Her family seen me grow up and become an adult. And I used to call her Aunt Mom, just because I felt accepted. I felt, it wasn't the best place to be, just because it was too much freedom. Some things that probably us as teenagers should not be doing with, openly, would not be, I look back and I would not allow that for my children.
And what was the spiritual background you both had?
I grew up Catholic.
I also grew up Catholic at first when I was younger, and then when my parents divorced in my teenager years, I was 16, my mom went to a Baptist church, and then I accepted Christ there, but ended up living the life that I chose, but he's always been there throughout the whole time, and I definitely always felt his presence, and I would often try to reconcile with him all the time.
We've always, when we first met, one of the first questions she asked me was if I believe in God. And I think that's kind of where everything started. I started noticing more and more like God was calling me. I was not following. I was still trying to do things my own way, trying to lead my family my own way. And we used to go to church off and on until, I want to say about 2 years ago, we went through a separation.
Breakup, yeah.
It was rough. It was rough for me because all I've known was being a father, being a husband, and that was just taken from me by my own doing. I did that to myself. I didn't want to compromise, or I wasn't being the man I should have been. I was constantly on my addictions, trying to just numb my pain away with drugs, and kind of not spending the right amount of time that I needed, and paying attention to my family the way I should. And it caused a lot of issues, to the point where my wife had to say enough was enough and left.
Tell us about the day you gave your life to Christ, Mario.
I gave my life to Christ sitting in my sofa, looking around in an empty home. Just, I had a choice to make. Either my vice, my addiction, and follow that, or the Lord. And it was something that I can't really explain, but all I could say is from that day, I've never been the same. I've decided to just, I don't do drugs anymore. I'm here to serve my wife, my children, be the father I need to be for my children, the husband that I need to be for my wife.
Another thing that I feel like we did during that time was we did some Bible studies together during the breakup. And that's what I actually knew. You know what? I think we could be able to make this work. And I feel like that helped us out a lot. You know, constantly reading the Word and making sure that what we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right, and we're gonna do it right this time.
Yes.
And we did. We ended up getting back together, and we bought a home, and we were, you know, got baptized together, and it was beautiful. And you know, I didn't have a big wedding, but that was my wedding day, the day of the baptism, and I truly feel like I wouldn't want anything else but that day, because no big wedding could be able to replace the feeling that I have for Jesus, because he's amazing, you know. He could be able to change everybody's in our life. And I know that there's more to come, but it's worth it. The fight is worth it because he's there by our side.
Amen.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is a struggle, and just continue fighting the fight with the Lord, guys. It is something that we cannot do on our own. We cannot expect anyone but the Lord to help us through our struggles.
Mario and Doris, thanks for telling your story.
Thank you.